I have something to say. And you need to hear this. Because what just happened? This isn't just unfair. This is an insult to baseball itself. Hello, everyone. The baseball world is on fire right now. Not because of a home run. Not because of a strikeout. But because of a decision. A decision so shocking, so hard to believe, that some of the biggest names in baseball history are stepping forward with anger in their voices and fire in their eyes. Shohei Ohtani was snubbed for the weekly MVP award. And the legends? They are not staying quiet. Let's set the stage first. Because you need to understand what Shohei did this week before you understand why the reaction has been so explosive. This was not a quiet week for Ohtani. This was not a week where you could argue either way. This was a week where Shohei Ohtani looked like he came from a different planet entirely. On the mound, he was untouchable. His fastball was alive, his splitter was disappearing at the last second, and batters were walking back to the dugout shaking their heads. Off the mound, he was a one-man demolition crew at the plate. Multiple hits. Multiple RBIs. The kind of numbers that make you go back and recheck the box score because you think you misread it. And yet, when the weekly MVP was announced, Shohei Ohtani's name was not on it. The internet did not take it well. Within hours, social media was flooded. Fans were asking the same question over and over again. What does this man have to do? What more does he have to give? Some fans went further, demanding a full investigation into how the voting works, who votes, and whether the system is even capable of evaluating a player who does things no player has ever done before in the history of Major League Baseball. But it wasn't just fans. The legends spoke. And when legends speak with this much emotion, you listen. The first to break his silence was one of the most feared pitchers in the history of the game. A man who spent his entire career making batters look helpless. A man who knows better than almost anyone what true dominance looks like. And the moment he heard about the snub, he could not hold back. He started simply. He said, "I'm going to be honest with you. When I heard the name of the weekly MVP, I actually laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was absurd." He paused. Then continued. "Look, I've been in this game a long time. I've seen MVP races. I've seen debates. I've seen moments where reasonable people can disagree. But this is not one of those moments. What Ohtani did this week was not debatable. You don't debate a sunset. You don't debate a thunderstorm. You just witness it." And then he got specific. What people don't understand, especially people who never played at this level, is how difficult it is to do one of the two things Ohtani does. Just one. Pitching at a high level in the majors will consume your entire identity. You think about it when you wake up. You think about it when you eat. You go to sleep running through lineups in your head. And hitting at a high level? Same thing. Your whole life becomes the mechanics, the timing, the mental chess match with the pitcher. He lowered his voice slightly. Ohtani does both. At the same time. At an elite level. This week he showed the world again exactly who he is. And the voters looked at that performance, and gave the award to someone else. I'm not angry at the other player. I'm angry at the system that allowed this to happen. The system was not built for Shohei Ohtani. And that's the problem nobody wants to talk about. Then came the philosophical turn. When history is happening in front of you, you have two choices. You can recognize it, honor it, and be part of it. Or you can look away and regret it later. Some of those voters are going to regret this. Not tomorrow. But when they look back years from now and someone asks them where they were when Ohtani was rewriting the record books, they're going to have to answer that question honestly. The second legend to speak did so on his personal podcast, and his words hit even harder because of how calm and measured he was. This is a man known for his precision. On the mound he was an artist. Every pitch had a purpose. Every decision was calculated. And when he speaks about baseball, people in the industry stop what they're doing and listen. He opened with a question. Can I ask something? What exactly are we rewarding with a weekly MVP? Are we rewarding performance? Or are we rewarding familiarity? Because if it's performance, then there is no conversation to be had here. The conversation is over before it starts. He then walked through Ohtani's week methodically, the way a professor walks through a theorem. As a pitcher, what he showed this week was command at the highest level. Location. Movement. Sequencing. He was not just throwing hard. He was thinking 3 pitches ahead of the batter. That is a skill that takes most pitchers a decade to develop. Some never develop it at all. He has it. And he demonstrated it clearly this week. Then he shifted. Now, as a batter, this is where I want people to really pay attention. Because Ohtani's hitting this week was not lucky. It was not hot. It was intelligent. He was reading pitchers, identifying patterns, and punishing mistakes with the kind of authority that makes the entire opposing dugout uncomfortable. When Ohtani steps into the batter's box, the energy changes. I've seen it. Everyone who has been around the game long enough has seen it. He took a breath. So now you combine those two things. Elite pitching. Elite hitting. In the same week. By the same human being. And the voters looked at that and said, not this week? I genuinely do not understand it. And I've been trying to understand it since the announcement came out. He paused for a long moment. You know what this reminds me of? Early in my career, I had a stretch where I was pitching the best baseball of my life. Numbers that should have turned heads. And I got overlooked because the narrative hadn't caught up to the reality yet. People vote for what they know. What they're comfortable with. What fits the story they already have in their heads. Ohtani doesn't fit any story anyone has ever written. He's writing something completely new. And sometimes voters don't know how to handle something new. Then he delivered his closing thought quietly but powerfully. To Shohei, I want to say this directly. Don't let this shrink you. Don't let this make you play smaller. The award didn't come this week. But the performance? The performance is permanent. Nobody can take back what you did on that field. That lives forever. The third voice to emerge came from a former slugger. A man who spent years in the middle of powerful lineups, who understood better than most what it feels like to carry a team on your back. His reaction was the most emotional of the 3. He said he was watching the announcement with his son. And when the name was read out, his son turned to him and asked, Dad, why didn't Ohtani win? He laughed softly telling the story. And then he said, I didn't have a good answer. Because the honest answer would have been too complicated for a child. The honest answer is that sometimes greatness moves faster than the people responsible for recognizing it. He composed himself.